Vijana Girivaradhari Vijana Palava Girivaradhari Shudhanandana Jajanaranjana Shudhanandana Jajanaranjana Shudhanandana Jajanaranjana Sudanandana Jajanaranjana Yamunatira Manachari Yamunatira Manachari Radha Madhava Javi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari. Now you can all dance. I'm going to speed it up. Gopichana Ballabha Girivaradhari Gopichana Ballabha Girivaradhari Shudanandana Bhajajanarandana Shudanandana Bhajajanarandana Shudanandana Bhajajanarandana Jamuna Tira Manachari Nira Manachari Madhava Punjabi Hari Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari Shri Radha Madhava Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai O Premanandi Hari Hari. So I am in Gainesville right now. We have a center, and they just had a groundbreaking ceremony. And I'm in one of the rooms. It's called the Krishna House. I think they have to call it the Krishna Houses because there are 4 of them. And they're going to be building a new building. And so, hope you can all hear me. Can you hear me well? It's just the computer microphone. Okay. So, I want to tell you something really important. In Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who was the father of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, who was Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master, he had written a lot about chanting. Specifically, he wrote books just about how to chant better. I don't know any acharya who just wrote books about chanting. So, in one of those books, he said that the holy name is the greatest treasure in Krishna's treasury house. It's the most valuable thing in Krishna's treasury. And so that's really interesting because most of the acharyas, the gurus, said the holy name is the most valuable thing that I have. See, like you can look at your beads. You ever talk to your beads? You can talk to your beads. You can say, you are the most valuable thing I have. Everybody tell your beads. You're the most valuable thing I have. You need to talk to your beads sometimes. You are my greatest treasure. You are my most priceless possession. Tell your beads. Why? Because these beads will give you love of Krishna. So the most valuable thing for you. My dear beads, you're the most valuable thing. More valuable than anything I possess. Okay, but many prayers like that, glorifying the holy name. But never before would they say that it's the most valuable thing Krishna has. Because if I asked you, what do you think the most valuable thing Krishna has? What would you say? Wouldn't you say, Radharani? Krishna's most valuable possession is Srimati Radharani. That's what I would say. But then I read this, and it said Krishna's most valuable possession is the holy name. So I had to think, well, what does that mean? Well, what it means is that the most valuable thing for Krishna is his relationship with all of us. And Prabhupada said, and this is really interesting. Prabhupada said, Krishna's relationship with us is more valuable to him than it is to us. Because we forget him, he doesn't forget us. We might turn our back on him, forget him, run after something in this world, but he doesn't forget us. So he wants us more than we want him. Isn't that amazing? Because you would think, well, he's God, he has everything. Why would he want us more than we want him? We should want him more than he wants us, because for us, he's special, most special. Isn't that interesting? Don't you think that's interesting? That Krishna wants you in a relationship. He misses you. Now I know most of us don't think, oh, Krishna misses us. I have to get back to Godhead because Krishna's waiting for me. You know, he's looking at his watch. When is Kurush going to come? When is Krishnamaya going to come? When is Sandeep going to come? I'm waiting, looking at the calendar. None of us think like that, right? I think, well, Krishna's having fun with the gopis. Krishna's having fun with the cowherd boys. And why would he be thinking about us? We're just down here going to school, you know, doing what we do. But actually, Krishna is missing us. Isn't that interesting? Now, you might think, Krishna is called Atmarama. Who knows what Atmarama means? Anybody know what Atmarama means? Well, you know Atma. What does Atma mean? Atma means the self. What does Rama mean? You all know what Rama means, right? What does Rama mean? Atmarama means one who finds pleasure in themselves. So if somebody finds pleasure in themselves, you would think they wouldn't need anybody else, right? Like, I can just live in a cave, be happy. And especially if that person who finds pleasure in himself is God, who has everything, and who is described everywhere as self-sufficient. He doesn't need anything. It seems really illogical or strange that he would want a relationship with us. And he already has everything. And he actually misses us. Aradha and Gaurangi, Krishna misses you. He's waiting for you. Or Gaurang. Aradha and Gaurang. Krishna's waiting for you. Did you know that? He wants a relationship with you. Even though he's got all these friends, even though he has all the gopis, even though he has parents and servants and all the residents of Braj, Krishna's thinking, oh, Sanskruti is not in the spiritual world. I miss her. Aditya is not in the spiritual world. I miss her. That's how he thinks. Isn't that amazing? Because we would naturally think, why would he care about me? I'm down here and he's up there, and I chose to be here, right? I didn't just come here by accident. I actually chose to be here. And he's up there, so why would he care about me? So here's something really interesting you may not know. That you all have many friends, right? And the relationship you have with each friend is a little different. Yes? They're different people, so they're all different, right? Relationship you have with your brother or sister is different. And if you have two brothers or two sisters, each relationship is different. And then you have 10 friends and each relationship is different, right? In its own way. Not better or worse, just different. And sometimes you want to go with a different friend because you do different things with that friend, or he's funny, or you don't want to be with somebody funny. You go with another friend, right? So every one of us has a special relationship with Krishna. For Krishna, it's different. And so he wants a relationship with each one of us because he enjoys it. And so by not becoming Krishna conscious, you're depriving Krishna of enjoyment. Did you know that? We're depriving Krishna of enjoyment because he wants to enjoy with us, each one of us, in a unique way. Does that make sense? Right? Diksha, does that make sense? Yes? Yeah. So Krishna's thinking, when is Diksha going to become pure so she can go back to Godhead so I can have a relationship? Krishna's thinking, when is Manohar going to come back to Godhead because I want to play with him? And Krishna's thinking about Arya, Sri Priya, and all of you, Keshav. He's thinking about all of you. When are you going to go back to Godhead? Right? So you all know you can't just go back to Godhead, right? Just because you want to. You have to become qualified, right? Some qualification. I mean, if there's no qualification, we'd already be there just because we want to. So what is the qualification? Krishna's ready. He's waiting. He wants the relationship. So Krishna's asking us or telling us, so I'm ready. Can you get ready also? Now I want to tell you a story. Because I know you like stories, right? If you don't like stories, you're not a bona fide kid. Every kid likes stories. Even adults like stories. But kids like stories more, I think. So I lived on a little island once that is between, well, let's just say it's south of India, southwest of India, a little island. And Prabhupada went there. It's called Mauritius. A little dot in the ocean, about 30 miles by 40 miles. And Prabhupada went there. So it became a very, very big place for spreading Krishna consciousness. There's 1 million people there, and there's 4,000 devotees. That's a lot. Out of 1 million people, there's 4,000. That's a lot. Who can do the math? There's 316 million. It's like, if there were 4,000 for every million, so 360 times 4,000. Just 300 million times 4,000. That's how many devotees there be in America. How many? 12 million or something? So how many people would that be in the United States? We're going to tell you how many people this would be in America if we had the same percentage. Or maybe you already figured it out. I can't figure it in my head. I think I figured it in my head. 100, no. 132 million people?
No, it's 13.
13 million. So 13 million, there would be 13 million initiated devotees in America. I think in the whole world, there's only 100,000 initiated. So it's like, what is it, like 0.4%? So that's like what, every 18 people you meet is a devotee, or what is it? No, every 180 people you meet is a devotee. So let's say every 200 people you meet in the country is a devotee. So Prabhupada went there. And I totally forgot the story I was going to tell you. What was I talking about? We went there. What did we do? We were talking about how Krishna's waiting for you to become qualified. Right? I forgot. I'll remember the story. I can't remember now. I got sidetracked. So, so we were saying, when Krishna's waiting, when are we going to become qualified to become pure? So when I chant Japa, I think, well, chanting is going to make me qualified to enter a relationship with Krishna. No, I remember what I was going to say. So yeah, it was about becoming qualified. So the president of India came to Mauritius, and I was in charge of the temple there. So they invited me and many other religious leaders to meet him. And so what they did, and I think this is quite common if you're going to meet an important person, they did a dress rehearsal the day before he came. So we all went to the place where he was coming, and they said, we will call you, you will come up and walk up the stairs this way, you will greet him, shake his hand, say this, and you walk off the stage that way. And then we did the whole dress rehearsal. Right? So we were getting ready to follow the proper etiquette to meet the President of India. If you're going to meet the Queen of England, you would be educated how to deal with her. Did you know that? You can't just go, hey, Queen, what's up? You can't do that. They'll throw you out of the, what do they call that place where she lives? What's the name of the place she lives in London? How come I can't remember? Where the guards stand outside. Fuzzy hats. What's it called? Somebody tell me. Palace. What's it called? Buckingham Palace. Yeah, Buckingham Palace. So let's say, okay. Padmanabha has been invited to meet the Queen of England because Padmanabha is so smart. He gets all A's. Are you smart, Padmanabha? He's the smartest student in America. The Queen of England wants to meet him. I've never met such a smart kid. So they say, so the people who run Buckingham Palace will bring you in early and say, the Queen is going to come from this room, and then she's going to stop here. When she stops here, then you can walk forward, but stop 3 feet before her, and then bow like this and tell her your name, and then say, I'm very pleased to meet you, and call her your majesty, and so on. They'll tell you what to do. Somebody wants to control my camera. So you can't, there's an etiquette. Did you all know that? When you meet the Queen, there's an etiquette. Our President of the United States did not follow that etiquette, Donald Trump. He once was walking with her and he walked in front of her. And then I was told, well, that's not the etiquette. To walk on the side or behind, you don't walk. He walked in front. He didn't know. I guess they didn't train him, or they did and he didn't care. I don't know. So, but the point is, it's a very specific relationship which requires being qualified in a certain way, right? Well, in the same way, you can't just have a relationship with Krishna, you have to be qualified, right? Yes? You can't just go, hey, Krishna, I'm coming back to Godhead, knock, 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 let me in. Like, why are you here? You don't belong here. Let me in. You can't do that. You will go back to Godhead because Krishna is attracted to your love. So when we're chanting, at least when I'm chanting, I like to think, or I often think, that I am preparing myself to meet Krishna. I'm preparing myself to become qualified to meet Krishna. because I'm not qualified. I'm not fully qualified yet. Right now, if we tried to go to the spiritual world, you know what they would say? They would say, sorry, you're not qualified. That's what they would say. You have, or it's like trying to get into university. You want to get in Harvard, or you want to get in Oxford, or Yale, or Princeton, or what's that other one in England? Starts with a C, Cambridge. You want to get in these, thank you. You want to get in these big universities, right? You can't just get in a university. You have to have proper grade point average. And some universities, they'll look at what you did in high school. Were you in any clubs? Were you in sports? What did you contribute to the school? They'll look at all of this before they're going to let you in. Did you know that? You want to get in a good university? You think it's easy? No, it's not. Average university, yes. But these Ivy League schools or these very high-end schools, not only grades, great grades must be there, other qualifications. So you can't just go to the spiritual world and say, here I am. Everyone will look at you and say, you're not supposed to be here. Who invited you? Oh, I just came. No, it's not like that. It's like the four Kumars, they tried to get in the spiritual world, and Jai Vijay said, what are you doing here? You don't belong here. You're just kids. Get out of here. You know that story? There's 7 gates. You know that? There's 7 gates to Vaikuntha. And each gate represents one obstacle, like anger or envy or lust or jealousy. And so you have to be free to get through the gate. They have a little meter, how much jealousy you have. Okay, 0 jealousy, next gate. Okay, how much envy you have? 0, next gate. How much lust you have? 0, next gate. How much anger you have? Oh, 3 points, out, can't come in. Did you know that? They don't have meters, but it's like I just make that up so you understand. It's like a security gate, 7 security gates. You walk through, you have too much lust, it's kind of embarrassing. Lust, beep, 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 out. Oh my God, everybody knows what I'm like. So, so in the Kumaras made it through 6 gates, and then when they came to the 7th, Jai Vijay said, you don't belong here. You're just kids. How did you get through? So it's like that. So you can't just go to Vaikuntha. You just can't go to the spiritual world. You have to become qualified. And the qualification is love, because Krishna loves us perfectly, and he can't have the perfect relationship until we love him perfectly. Does that make sense? Like if you love somebody and they don't love you, what kind of relationship is that? Is there a name for that kind of relationship? You call it frustrating. That's a lot. Can we put it in a smaller cup and then have you ever have a friend that you really like that doesn't like you? Yes? No, you haven't you're not old enough for that yet. You will, don't worry, when you get older, it's going to happen. You like somebody, but they don't like you. So Krishna loves us, and he wants to have a relationship naturally with someone who loves him. That's just normal, like we would also, right? You love someone, you want them to love you. So our chanting is preparing us for that relationship by making us qualified to love Krishna, so we become qualified to enter the relationship. So we're going to chant now, and that's what is going to be our meditation. That was the introduction. That was the introduction to our chanting. We're going to chant, and while we're chanting, we're going to pray to Krishna. Please give me the qualification to enter into this relationship. Please make me qualified to serve you. Please make me qualified to have a relationship with you. That's what we're going to do. Can we do it? Are you ready? Okay, so you stay muted. So we're going to chant 64 rounds. Only kidding. 32. that okay? 32? That only take us 4 hours, we'll be finished. Oh, you don't have 4 hours? How about 16? 2 hours. Oh, this class is supposed to end at 35 minutes. Okay. All right, we'll just chant for a little bit. And then when we're going to stop chanting, I will tell you. But before we begin, I won't tell you how long. You don't have to worry how long. Just chant, don't worry about it. Before we begin, I want you to meditate on what I said, okay? Just totally meditate on what I said, how Krishna is waiting for us, and he's loving us, and he's waiting for us to love him. And now we're going to chant to reciprocate with that love and ask while we're chanting, Krishna, please help me become qualified to love you, okay? So that's the mood. Can we do it? Yes? Okay, let's do it. We're all going to chant together, but we can't hear one another. You can hear me, but I can't hear you. What if we mute everybody? It's going to sound like a normal Japa session. That's simple, right? Doesn't matter. Okay, I have a plan. You can all mute yourself and chant, and if it's too loud, you can just make it quiet. What do you think? Should we try it? It'll be like we're all together. So you can all mute yourself, and then you can adjust the volume. So, can they mute themselves? We're in.
No.
Okay, now you can mute yourself. So you can just begin chanting. We'll chant 1 or 2 rounds together, and then you can adjust your volume. You don't want to hear it. Make it lower. But just make sure, if you're muted, make sure there's nobody else making noise in the background, like people talking or somebody screaming or anything, or music playing, because we just want to hear the japa. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare
Krishna, 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 Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
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 Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare Hare.
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare, Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Ram,
Krishna
Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Ram,
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Ram,
Krishna
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Ram,
Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram, Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Ram, Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare.
Ram,
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Ram, Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
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 Ram
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare.
Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Ram Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare,
Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Ram,
Ram Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Ram, Ram Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Hare Ram, Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
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 Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Ram, Hare
Ram,
Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare.
Govinda, Govinda,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Ram, 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 Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Ram, Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram,
Ram, Ram,
Hare Ram.
Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Hare Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Ram Ram Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Govinda, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare
Ram
Hare.
Ram Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare Ram,
Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare Ram, Ram
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Ram
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Ram,
Ram
Ram,
Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna.
Hare, Hare
Okay,
Ram, Ram
stop for a
Ram,
minute. I have
Hare
to
Hare.
say something.
Hare Krishna.
Whatever you want, Krishna will give you. But there's a qualification. You want to know the qualification? You have to really want it. And how does Krishna know you really want it? Well, Krishna can feel your heart. He knows what you're feeling, right? So nobody can feel what you're feeling if you aren't feeling anything, right? So if you want that relationship with Krishna, if you're asking Krishna, make me qualified, you love me, I want to love you. The only way he's going to help you with that is if he feels what you're feeling. And the only way he can feel what you're feeling is for you to feel it, obviously, right? So what we're going to do now is we're going to try to feel that desire to reciprocate with his love. We're going to try to feel it stronger, okay? Intensify. Can we do that? Intensify it when you're chanting. So think, Krishna will only reciprocate if I'm feeling it, because he will feel what I'm feeling. And if I don't feel it, I've got nothing to reciprocate with, right? If you feel nothing, Krishna has nothing to reciprocate. Okay, can we do it, Mira? You fired up? Okay, let's do it. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Ram.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare,
Hare
Hare Ram.
Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna
Ram
Ram,
Ram.
Hare Hare. Hare
Ram,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram.
Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare
For 1 minute, you can
Krishna
dance
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare
to let you into the spiritual world. Okay? So just imagine you're right at the door of the spiritual world and you're chanting,
Krishna Krishna
begging
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Ram Hare
1 minute.
Krishna Hare
1 minute you can dance.
Hare
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 Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna
Now,
Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna
ask you a
Krishna
question.
Hare Ram
You think Krishna let you in? Or you're not sure? I'm not sure. I think I have to pray harder. So, can you put in the chat, write down in the chat, what you were experiencing during this, while we were chanting? What was going on in your mind and your heart? Was it easy? Was it difficult? Did you feel Krishna accepted you? Did you feel like you had to ask harder? Whatever was going on, you can write in the chat and then we'll discuss it. Ah, Chao says Krishna accepted me. Hardik says it was cool and stress-free. I finished, Damodar says, I finished 2 rounds during the period. I feel as I'm very near to Krishna. I might be reaching any moment. Oh, good. Getting close.
Prabhuji,
Uh,
Prabhuji,
so, yes. Om, you want to say something?
yeah, I did 2 rounds before this class.
So you're in a good state. You're in a good state, right? That's good. You're going to do 2 rounds after this class?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Well, I
why-
did
you
it
might as
before. Well, I
well. Did I mute you? Om, you're on a roll. I think you should do a few more rounds. You know, I mean, I always think like, you know, sometimes when you're chanting, it's really good. And sometimes it's hard. So I always think when it's good, take advantage. Just keep doing it.
even hard if you have to do it.
You don't have to, you get to. Okay, we're gonna read. Om, if I were you, I would chant more. Om, for the first 19 years of my life, I never chanted Hare Krishna. That was terrible. Like horrible, right, Ali? Worst thing that ever happened to us. You even went like another year or 2. So you're all young. You don't have to spend your whole life not chanting. So, you know, if I were you, I would chant more. Okay, I'm going to read I'm going to read some of your sharing. I'm going to go back up and we're going to read what you said because I get inspired by you. All of you inspire me. I feel I was overwhelmed by all the constant noise of devotees chanting. Yeah. You could make it lower. Next time you could make it lower. You couldn't hear yourself. I like to chant alone. I feel very close to Krishna now. I feel good. Couldn't concentrate fully. You have to practice. That's all. Feel like he accepted me. Wow. I was praying to Krishna to accept me, and I feel that I've made a small corner in his heart. Wow. Amazing. I felt close to Krishna. Feeling like Krishna with me the total rounds for the day. Fantastic. I feel happy chanting. Spiritual and feeling closer to Krishna at his door. Krishna hasn't accepted me yet. I will have to concentrate more. That's a good realization. You know, the realization I had, it was really interesting. I felt like Krishna was asking me, do you really want to come in? Like, are you like ready for this? Any of you have that realization? Like you have to, we're saying, okay, I'm at the door asking, trying to convince Krishna to go in. It's like, do I really want to go? Any of you had that? Do I really like have to make a decision here? Made me happy. Krishna hasn't accepted me yet. I will have to concentrate more. I have to pray more. You have to show him you want it. I felt that I am near to Krishna. Fantastic. I'm very happy to read all this, the realizations. I felt very good. It feels like he was near me. It was fun. Yeah. The most fun you'll ever have. For sure. You think this was fun, you ought to become a cowherd boy. That's really fun. I feel like I am a little bit closer to Krishna. I think I need to chant a little bit more. Yeah, I feel like that also, like a lot more. Krishna has accepted me. Amazing. It was great and peaceful, overwhelming. I felt Krishna accepted. I did one round. My only wish to meet my relatives in pandemic, to go away forever. Yeah, we all wish that. And Eva Shri said 17 rounds today. Well, you're ahead of me. Fantastic. It was kind of a new experience. Quite happy with this experience. Fantastic. 4 rounds done. I feel refreshed and close to Krishna. I prayed that he remove less anger, etc., from my heart. I hope I can go back to Godhead in this life. If you want to go, you can. He will help you, that's for sure. I'm feeling very happy and better. It was fun and Krishna is close to me. Fantastic. So we have 10 minutes and I want to make a very important point for you. Whatever you want, Krishna will give you if you want it. And that either means something good or something bad. That's the problem. You know that, have you heard the saying? The knife cuts on both sides, or the sword or the razor cuts on both sides. It means it's good and bad. So whatever you want, Krishna will reciprocate with. And that also means if what you want is not good, he'll reciprocate with that as well. But for us to have faith that Krishna will help us overcome any obstacle, help us achieve whatever we want, it's very important. Because then when you chant with this confidence, this faith, that if I chant sincerely praying to Krishna for anything, and I do it every day, he's going to fulfill that desire. So whatever it is. So if you want to become qualified to enter in a relationship with Krishna, and you ask for that every day, and you pray for that sincerely, and Krishna can feel that this is a strong desire in your heart, he will fulfill it, guaranteed 100%. He promises. Now I have to say something about the promise. This is really interesting. If Krishna promised something, would you believe it? Oh, everybody's going to see you. But for us, if Krishna made a promise, Krishna says something in the Bhagavad Gita, that's it. It's once he says it, it's there forever, right? Krishna makes statements in the Bhagavad Gita, and once he makes those statements, whether it was true before, whatever, once he makes those statements from that point on, it's true. It's just a fact, because he said it. Because whatever Krishna says becomes reality, right? Like I could say, I'm going to be rich. May never happen. Krishna says, I'm going to be rich. It happens because he's God. He makes it happen. So when he says, I'm going to reciprocate, that means he's going to, right? It's like, there's no, well, I don't know, will he? You know, because I'm not special. No, he said he's going to reciprocate with anybody. That's just the fact. It's done. As we say in America, it's a done deal. It's done. It's finished. He said, I will reciprocate. So that means whatever you want to achieve, especially talking about spiritually, whatever you want to achieve spiritually, if while you're chanting, you pray to Krishna, please help me become a better devotee. Please help me overcome my lack of focus. Please help me be a better friend, a better servant, a better son, a better daughter. Krishna will, if you pray for that every day, Krishna will, I guarantee you, he will fulfill that desire. That's his promise. So that, the beauty of this is that means there's nothing in the world that is an obstacle that you can't overcome because Krishna will help you. Isn't that good news? Is that the best thing you've heard today? Yes, I think it is. Best thing I've heard today. You have a question? Question. Okay. Sanskriti has a question. Okay. You want to, Sanskriti, you want to tell us your question? Sanskriti.
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I had a question that um, le- how much time we should take to complete at least one round.
How long does it take you?
I take almost like 8 to 9 minutes.
Okay. No problem.
And Prabhuji, sometimes like very few times it happens like when I am chanting with my devotee friends, that time I get a bit distracted, like thinking about future. So in this case,
You start talking to them?
shall I do?
Oh, where's the router? Like you have to say that again because our internet connection is not so good. Can you say it again? You're chanting with your
Like
friends. You're chanting with your
I
friends.
get
I think it's hers first. You're chanting with your friends, and then you get distracted, and then you start talking.
thinking about future. So in this case, what can I do?
Oh, yeah. You're talking about the future or just thinking about it? Like what you're going to do?
Thinking about.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so best thing you can do. When you chant, just pretend like there's no past, there's no future, there's just now. It's just you and Krishna, and that's it. There's nothing else. Okay. Today is Saturday, right?
Yes.
So when you chant, just forget it's Saturday. Just forget everything while you're chanting. It's like, because now you're with Krishna. And unless you do that, you won't be with Krishna because you'll be in Saturday, thinking about what you're going to do, right? Like you're thinking about what you're going to do later, like when you're with your friends. Is that the idea?
Yes.
So when you're chanting, you have to be now, like forget the rest of Saturday. I'm with Krishna. Just like, let's say, Samskruti, you came to my house and you came over and said, oh, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. And then I say, okay. And then you start talking to me. And then I start, as you're talking to me, I start doing stuff like this. You can just watch me, like, pretending you're talking to me. And I start doing this. You're over here, like, and I'm like, you're talking and I'm doing this. Oh, oh, yeah. How would you feel if you were talking to me and I was doing that?
I will feel a bit uneasy.
Would you feel somewhat neglected, I'm sure, right?
Yes.
Probably feel very neglected, what's the word I'm looking for? Ignored. You would feel I'm ignoring you, right? Like, you? Yeah. So I'm chanting Hare Krishna and I'm thinking about so many other things. How does Krishna feel?
He will feel that I am ignoring him.
Exactly. And he'll feel, I think also you must have felt when I was doing that I didn't respect you, because if I respected you, I would give you my attention. So I think it made you feel like unimportant, didn't it? I mean, I would feel that way, right? Does that ever happen to you? You come over and you're totally ignored and you feel like the most unimportant person I could have ever walked in that room, right?
Yes.
So you're chanting Krishna and you're ignoring him, neglecting him. That's not a good way to establish a relationship, is it? I don't think. Right? So
Yes.
here's a little mantra for you. You want to give Krishna the respect and honor of your attention. He deserves that, right? Doesn't he deserve your attention?
He deserves.
At least during the time you're chanting, he deserves it. I mean, we don't always give him our attention, but at least while we're chanting, we should give him our attention, right?
Yes.
At least then, I mean, the rest of the day, we should give attention all day, but at least while we're chanting. So Krishna deserves the honor of our attention, right?
Yes.
Should all remember that. So when you're chanting, you know my mantra? When I chant, I chant. What does that mean? Of course, when I chant, I chant. No, we don't. When I chant, I think about playing with my friends. When I chant, I think about my homework. When I chant, I think about someone who said something I didn't like. When I chant, I'm thinking about breakfast. Do you ever think about breakfast when you chant? If you are a human being, and I think you are, you've probably thought about breakfast when you're chanting, or lunch, depending on the time of day. So when I chant means when I chant, that's what I do. Don't think about playing. Don't think about breakfast. Don't think about my schoolwork. That you can think about later when you stop chanting, right? Just like I'm talking to you and I'm looking at this bottle of honey and reading the label. And you're thinking, do you have to read the label right now? I'm talking to you. I go, well, I guess I can read it later. Yeah. Right? I have to think about playing with my friends while I'm chanting. I guess I could think about that later when I'm not chanting. So I give my respectable attention to Krishna. Is that okay?
Okay, Prabhuji. Thanks.
Is that more than, is that super okay?
Yes.
Is it bahut acha? Not acha, bahut acha. Super okay. For those of you who don't know, bahut acha means super okay. Well, it actually means wonderful. Very good.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Super cool. Bahut acha means super cool. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go. It's nice seeing you all. This is the sign that class is over. Okay. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol, everyone.
So So please, if you want, you can write down your questions in the chat, and then in the next session, I'm going to be sure that Mahatma Prabhu is going to answer your questions, okay?
Okay? Sab TK? Okay, Hare Krishna, everyone. We'll see you next time. And remember, when you're chanting, to pray to become qualified. Okay? Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.